used to be that we had friends and acquaintances, and very infrequently, an enemy. Friends were people that we enjoyed spending time with, and their religion or politics or race were immaterial. Their varying opinions on diet or music or pastimes only made them more interesting to spend time with. Acquaintances were people you worked with or went to church with, but didn't know too much about and spent little time with beyond work and worship. Enemies were someone who had really hurt or cheated you, or someone for whom you cared. They were few and far between. But the world has changed. Now it seems that one can only be your friend. Elsewise, one must be the enemy, the foe, and treated accordingly. Politics now reflects one's position on virtue. I was recently listening to a debate on U.S. politics and how polarized it has become in recent years. People used to regularly vote for the person they liked and thought a good candidate. Both Reagan and Nixon won elections, taking 49 of the 50 states, while in the recent past, there are only a few states whose outcome is unpredictable and which can swing and determine the election. The vast majority now vote according to party, regardless of who their presidential candidates may be. It's a worrying development for the objectivity required to make democracy work. But more worrying is people approaching each other with suspicion and rejection if the other does not reflect their views. Let's face it, if we sit down and are honest with ourselves, we would have to acknowledge that the bad guys are very few. And for all the others, their opinions deserve respect if free speech is to prosper. Sure, there are murderers and thieves, rapists and swindlers, con artists, pimps, and human traffickers. But the vast majority of people are well-intentioned, trying to live good lives, do their jobs, be good parents or children, and get by without causing others pain. But that does not mean that we all have to agree on everything. We can disagree without being labeled wrong and evil. The antipathy that is developing, egged on by the anonymity of the internet and the polarization of media and social groupings, is frightening. When I grew up, my parents had the Star, the Telegram, and the Globe and Mail delivered each day. In those days, the Globe came in the morning to be read before breakfast, and the other two arrived in time to give you something to debate over dinner. One wanted to read all the different perspectives, whether global news, local politics, state of the economy, or what's going on in the neighborhood. Weddings, engagements, meeting of the Coin Club, or the results of the local regatta, or the Scouts camping trip were all covered. Today, if one reads the paper, or favors a particular TV channel, or pays attention to a commentator, influencer, whether online or delivered, it reflects the shade of your politics, your view of what is true and right, or left, as the case may be. In the States, CNN is left. Fox is right. What one covers positively, the other puts a negative spin on. The scandals of the one are the virtues of the other. The important thing seems to be not having any reporter from your chosen media who would ever put a spin on a story that would interfere with your sense of right and wrong. Their job is to take the differing facts and either eliminate them or mock their veracity or interpret them to your perspective's advantage. Your station is designed to reflect and enforce your view of the world, whether Republican or Democrat. And that is increasingly the state of the media in Canada and throughout the world. It's frightening because when we're not challenged to think and come to our own conclusions on important issues, we're controlled by the objectives of others. And that so easily becomes unhealthy in politics and creates political sects and parties defined by the leader's persona rather than policies. True relationships are based not on blind obedience to another's thoughts, but are nourished and strengthened through debate over dinners, challenged by books the other recommends, and visiting websites that support differing perspectives. Quite reasonably, we all fear being labeled with any of the isms floating around today. once labeled a racist or sexist, Islamophobe, bigot, a misogynist, or homophobe, one is shunned and the assumption made that the allegation must be true. It can happen so easily, and the results can be catastrophic. Jobs lost, public humiliation, abandoned by friends and colleagues. All this seen recently in Toronto with a school principal abandoned and unprotected by his employer against malicious and untrue allegations. Faced with isolation, he ended depressed, unable to work, and ultimately a suicide. All because he questioned whether Canada was as racist as the USA, having worked in both jurisdictions. What a loss to the profession and the students, deprived of a fine professional only trying to do the best for his school, staff, and students. Rogues have found this as a great protection for their misdeeds. Charging people falsely with one of the isms takes the spotlight off the behavior of the accuser. An example. I was in the dollar store last week when a man saw two girls stuffing some items into their bags. He called them out on it, told them to put the stuff back, and that they should leave the store. I know, because I was in the same aisle and saw what he saw. The girl started yelling at him, and it became a big scene with everyone watching. He then followed them to the front desk, told the clerk what he had seen. At that point, the one girl began screaming, "You racist pig! You're just saying that because I'm black." The man had not said one word about race. The girls had been attempting to steal from the store, and yet everyone was looking at him with disgust. I tried to back him up, but no one was paying any attention, and the girls were allowed to continue their shopping at the store. The clerk clearly didn't dare to send them away. This is not the way to solve differences between people. I just want to go back to a world where people listened to each other with respect, where debate was encouraged, and we could respectfully disagree without losing respect for the other's right to differ. A world where we chose dialogue over confrontation. A world where we work together to make it better in so many ways. And so, with St. Francis, I pray, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is offense, let me bring pardon. Where there is discord, let me bring union. So may it be. Amen.